Greetings, everybody. Today is October 4th, 2022. Another edition of Tommy Rat's New York Hardcore Stories. I was supposed to do a show last week, but I wasn't able to do it due to the hurricane that was coming in. However, my area was not affected in Ocala, which is a good thing. But my heart goes out to all the people who suffered damage and loss in the other cities that got affected, especially my hometown, Cape Coral. My heart and prayers go out to them. If I come across any parties donating for hurricane relief, I will post it here in a future episode. But I want to make sure that these groups are going to make sure that the people who need the money get the money. That's the whole problem with some of these donation groups. You don't know where the money's going until you do your research. Alright, now to go into other things. Last week, Letty, who helped me create the intro for this, I said that he played in a band called Struggle Within, which never happened. It was members of Fear of Life who used to play in that band. But he played a band called One Second Thought. And he's got a new band out in the Brandon area. So he's living out here in Florida too. Well, props out to Lenny. Now, this is something I want to go over since we talked about Black Flag. And of course some mentions of the Circle Jerks came in. So we're going to talk about the Circle Jerks this week. But one particular album that stands out above anything else they did was the Group Sex album. For once, my headphones are in sync with my voice. That's a wonderful thing. Okay, now, I was looking for stuff from Black Flag at the time when I first heard about them, back in 1980. And came across the Circle Jerks, who featured Keith Boris, the original singer for Black Flag. So this piqued my interest. I came across this album in 99 Records called Circle Jerks Group Sex. It was released by Frontier Records in 1980. So at the time, this was like one of the best things I ever heard. And what's so funny, this album turned out to be the best-selling album in the New York, one of the best-selling albums for them in the New York City area alone. Group Sex was actually a best-selling album for them in the New York. Actually, I think they sold more copies of that record in New York than they did anywhere else, which is an amazing feat. Now, I want to go over some of the tracks that they did on the record, and some little things like that stand out. For example, you got a song called "I Just Want Some Skank," which was like a slow song, and then it shifted right into a fast part. This is something that a lot of hardcore kids got accustomed to listening to over the years. The go from fast to slow to fast. That was something that punk rock never specialized in at one time. But you think about it, a lot of bands do almost every song with a fast part and a slow part in it. Nothing wrong with that. As long as the music's good and tight. Now, the term skank became like a dance floor term as part of the punk rock hardcore slang, where like a march, slam dance, whatever you did on the dance floor, stage dive, and that was usually the slow part of the song, where everybody would like go crazy during that part when they did the slow part, and and some people called it skank, some people called it skanking. Even Urban Waste wrote a song called Skank. Skank yourself to death. Now, a lot of people forget that was a derogatory term for a woman. We call a woman a skank. We're not going to get into that. But a lot of people probably forgot about that. And then there's another song, Beverly Hills, which had a slow part that was like very like a skanky part, mosh part, whatever you call it. And okay. Now they had the song Back Up Against the Wall. And that there was a part in there where there'd be a broken glass being cracked. Now, I remember a friend of mine told me they went to see him at Irving Plaza, and some idiot threw a glass bottle during that part of the song. I don't think that was planned by the band, especially in a place like Irving Plaza even back then. You know, they didn't take kindly to stuff like that. From my experiences there, or experiences that I've witnessed. Now, they had their own version of Wasted, which was a Black Flag song. And I think it was speeded up a little bit to sound a little more different than what they did than how Black Flag did the song. And they used and Don't Care was a Black Flag song, but for some reason there was some beef with Greg Ginn and Keith Morris over the song, over him using the song for Circle Jerks. And they changed the name of the song to You Bet We Got Something Personal Against You when Ron Reyes was singing it. And that was recorded on the Jealous Again record. And Live Fast, Die Young. That used to be a song by another band called Red Cross. But Greg Hetson actually played in that band. But the song was originally called Cover Band. Now, this album was your typical 14-song record back in those days, where the songs were like no more than 2 or 3 minutes long. I would say close to 2.5 minutes to maybe less than a minute. At one time, the Ramones actually shelled out 14 songs on an album until they got to Road to Ruin, and then they changed that to 12 songs for their records. But that was a lot of songs for an album back in them days. And the quality of that recording was very good. Now, excuse me a second, I'm just a little bit tongue-tied here. Don't mind me. Now, the Wild in the Streets record, I don't know, I felt it wasn't as good as a Group Sex album. I liked the record, don't get me wrong. I liked it, but not as much as Group Sex. I don't know what it was. I don't know. I guess they were trying to evolve from their first record. I mean, nothing wrong with a band evolving. but usually the earlier releases turn out to be better than the later releases. I remember one time went to my father's place in Roslyn, Long Island to see the Circle Jerks play. Me and my friend Joe and this girl Jeannie. We actually took the Long Island Railroad to go there. I believe Crucial Truth opened up for them. And that was a fun show. Now over there, you had some long hair guys, who didn't like punk rockers coming into their little corner over there. So they didn't take kindly to the punks being there, and they had their own little corner where they just wanted for themselves. So whatever. Now getting home, that was something that turned out to be a more difficult task, because the trains will stop running every certain hour, especially over at this one station, Mineola. So Long Island Railroad was kind of sketchy, so we had to go and take car service to a station that actually had a train running in order for us to get back home. And I remember we had some guardian angels that were like hanging out with us, that lived in the area. We had a crazy idea to actually follow the train tracks to where they were going. They said, no, don't do that. Now, I remember, I believe in '83, the Circle Jerks played at A7. I think it was an unofficial show, because I know they had some lineup changes. At that time, they had Earl Liberty playing bass. Now, the drummer, Jack Rabbit actually played drums for this one show that they did. And they were doing Circle Jerk songs and Black Flag songs, which was, that was a fun show. I believe that was like AF was on that show too. AF and Cause for Alarm also played that show also. And I think Chuck Biscuits came into the band at that time after he was done with Black Flag. Alright, so basically that's all I gotta say right now. I mean, the Circle Jerks are still like they're still active today, even though Keith Morris does his other band. There's other band called Off in between. I don't know if he's still doing that band, but they're still going strong. If they come play near Ocala or in the Orlando or Tampa area, I'll check them out. So anyway, that's all I have for you for this week. Now, if you look in the description, there's a list of my other social media and other ways you can help out the channel with donations and all that, and check out the links below, like for things I'm sponsoring. So that's about it. So see you next time. Please smash that like button and subscribe for more Tommy Rat New York Hardcore stories. Thank you for watching.